Hello and welcome back to the Day Luna Human Design Podcast with your hosts, Dana and Shayna. Today we are recording a solo episode that is super fast and super sweet and straight to the nuts and bolts, and it feels kind of fun. So we're just going to get right into it. We're talking about profiles today and maybe a different lens than you've really approached profiles or been taught about them. But we want to talk about the harmony or the resonance between the different profile lines between your friends and family. There are certain profiles that jibe better together than others. And we've found that naturally people are attracted to resonant profiles, like people with a resonant profile, just naturally. And so this is a fun episode to look up your friends and family's charts, to look at yours, to look at your partners, and to just see what their profile is. And it can give you a lot of clarity of, oh, that's why this person and I just click into gear, or that's why I just feel so easy around them. Or maybe that's why in the beginning there was some dissonance and we had to iron out some kinks, but now we really like how we stretch each other and get each other out of our comfort zone. So all relationships are amazing. And if you use your strategy and authority, then it's aligned for you, right? This is not meant to box you in or to tell you like your partner is not ideal for you or anything like that, which we've definitely seen some people in the human design space do. This is meant to just give you that extra support and awareness of how you can deepen your relationships, but it's always going to come back to your strategy and authority, right? Like, does your authority say yes to this person in your life? And if so, great. Lean in and this can bring you that depth. But if your authority is saying no and you have this dissonance, or maybe your authority is saying no, but you have this harmony, and so it's giving you some confusion, it's always coming back to you, oh, that's why I felt confused, but my authority is actually telling me this. Let me rely on that versus feeling maybe some guilt that I felt because of this harmony connection that we have with our profiles. So it's just fun. It's really intriguing to us as projectors, but it's also just brings that next level of awareness into your life.
So let's start out from the beginning. If you're new to human design or if you're new to this podcast, your profile is a very important part of your human design. It's like the costume that your purpose wears, it's the role that you play on the stage of life. In so many ways, your profile is how people experience you way more than your energetic type. Right? They really see you as your profile because your profile tells you a lot about how you're meant to learn from other people and then externalize and teach other people how you're meant to engage with others. So, if you don't know your profile, I encourage you to pause this and to go to our website, daylunalife.com, and you can generate your free chart there. Once you generate your chart, you can look at all of the written categories on your chart, and next to profile, you'll see two numbers there. Maybe you're a 1-3 or a 1-4 or a 2-4. So, those two numbers are your profile. And Shayna and I, a lot of you know, if you listen to this podcast, are both 2-4s. So this is the first type of profile connection we want to talk about is profile resonance. When you have the same numbers in your profile as someone else, you will automatically feel such a strong resonance. We like to tell people a lot, like if there was a 2-4 projector and a 2-4 generator, you would click so well based on the fact that you're both 2-4s, maybe even more than you connecting with another projector that has a different profile with different lines. That profile resonance automatically is like, we're friends, you get me, we see the world in the same way, we move through the world in the same way. So for Shayna and I to both be 2-4s, we had always felt that. Before we discovered human design, it's like we just go through social interactions in the same way. We learn in the same way. We teach in the same way. We're both naturals. We're both people who are cozy bitches with our 4 line and love to be connected and real and like to go deep and skip the small talk. We both don't have a ton of friends like a 5 line would. We have a smaller, close-knit group. We're really close with people who feel like family or with our actual family members. So the fact that we're both 2-4s, we have the same two numbers is a very strong resonance. But even when we meet someone who is a 4-1, we share that 4 line. So our 2 and their 1 are different, but we share one of the same numbers in our profile. We're still going to experience that profile resonance. And we feel that almost immediately. Like if we meet someone new and they're a 4-1 or a 1-4 or a 4-6, our four lines just connect and it feels like two unicorns riding off into the sunset together. It's such a nice, enjoyable feeling. So, when you have that profile resonance, it's going to feel easy. It's going to feel like you get me. There's going to be this natural friendship, camaraderie, and compatibility that you feel. Now, the downside of that is that you're like, I'm so right in the way that I move through the world. And they're like, yeah, you are, because I'm the same. And so you might connect about it, but you won't necessarily help one another grow. So that's the one challenge or downside of having profile resonance with someone is it feels cozy, feels connective, but it isn't necessarily showing you a new way of existing. So there can be kind of like a stagnant energy or a feedback loop in your connection, friendship, etc.
Yes. So let's get into all of the different connections. A harmonious connection is if you have a one or a four. One and four are harmonious together. Two and five, and three and six. Those are the harmonious lines. And it's because if you're looking at the profiles for any of you HD nerds, you have like one, two, three in the lower trigram, and then four, five, six. So the first bar of that, hexagram is going to resonate. So one, and then four, two, five, three, and six. Those are those harmonious lines, and they complement each other, even though they have their differences. So um, if you're, for example, if you are a 1-4, then you have this harmony in your profile already. You don't have this tension like a 2-4 would have, where you one side you feel this way, but on the other side you feel that way. If you're 1-4 or you're a 2-5 or 5-2 or 4-1 or 3-6 or 6-3, you have this harmonious profile within yourself. And then, of course, if you are friends with somebody who has one of the opposite of those numbers, you feel this natural harmony with that person. Like Dana was saying, this cozy, you get me, but you might not feel that like stretch out of your comfort zone with that person, where they're teaching you a new way of moving through the world.
So if anyone's listening to this and you're a 1-3 profile, for example, you know, okay, I have a one. My one's always going to be harmonious with anyone with a four in their profile. And I have a three, that's always going to be harmonious with anyone with a six in their profile. So just keeping awareness of your own profile and then the harmonious lines. And that's going to feel like that connection. Maybe we're different. Maybe we move through life differently, but I still get you and you still get me. And we add a lot to each other's lives. So if you're a 1-3 and you become friends with someone who's a 4-6, you know, your three line is trying to fuck around and find out and trial and error through life. And as a 4-6, they don't necessarily move that way if they're over 30 anymore, right? Because the six line acts as a three when it's under 30. Let's say this person's over 30 and they're a 4-6. They're not in that trial and error phase of their life anymore, but their six line and your three line are still harmonious. You're still going to get each other. There's going to be that connection, even though you do move through life in a very different way.
Yeah. And in my experience, right, like I'm a 2-4, but my husband is a 5-1, and those are resonant lines, right? My two is really resonant with his five, and then my four is really resonant or harmonious with his one. And we move through the world in completely different ways, but there is this harmony, and we definitely get stuck into a cozy little nook, and we have that feedback loop, and we have to um go be around other people to bring us into growth and stretching. And that's reflected in a few other places in our design with our connection charts, which, if you're a human design besties, we did release a connection theme mini course where we teach you all about the different connection themes. So if you're a bestie, check that out. And if you're not, join us. It's super inexpensive, and you have access to so many courses and meditations and live ceremonies. It's truly like crazy how little it costs and how much you get from that. And you can join us for a month and then leave, or you could stay on and connect with us every single month and become one of our close inner circle besties. Whatever feels good for you, but join us there if this is something that you're like, oh, I need to know how I connect with my partner even deeper. But you can see, me and Brian being this 2-4 and 5-1, they're so different yet harmonious, right? Whereas Dana and her partner, they have a more stretchy relationship, but he's always bringing her on adventures, and they're always teaching each other things, and they're always growing all the time. And it's really amazing. It's just having awareness. Oh, that's not better or worse than each other, right? A lot of times in our relationships, we look at, you know, other people's marriages and we compare ourselves like, should I be doing that? Should we be connecting like this? You read books where they have a certain connection. You're like, should I be having that with my partner? But you have profiles that are resonating on different frequencies and bringing a different flavor to your relationship. And that's not something you need to change or fix. It's just holding space for it and understanding it and allows it to be okay. So that way you can focus on other things that you maybe want to change or fix in your relationship, but not necessarily this.
Yeah, so let's get into that last type of profile compatibility, if you will, which is a dissonant connection. Now, this means that you don't have the same lines in your profile as they do. And also, the lines in your profile are not harmoniously paired with the lines in their profile. So, my husband and I, like Shayna was saying, are a great example. I'm a 2-4, right? So, anyone with a 2 or anyone with a 4, we'd have that resonant. We're the same. That feels so good. I'm a 2-4. So, anyone that has a 5 would harmonize with my 2, and anyone that has a 1 would harmonize with my 4, but my husband doesn't have either of those lines. He's a 6-3. And so those lines are completely dissonant with my 2-4. And this type of connection, really, like Shayna was saying, is one that stretches you. You operate in completely different ways that can sometimes really clash. But the beauty of that is that you help each other grow and stretch. So for me as a 2-4, I have the 2 line, which is very natural. And I really like to learn through that 2 line. The things that come naturally to me, that's what I like to learn. That's what I like to do. And sometimes that can allow me to be really stuck. Like I only want to try things if I think it's going to work out or be easy or be natural for me. And while that's a part of my genius, the shadow side can keep me really complacent sometimes. And my husband, as a 6-3, with his 3 line, he is trialing and erring through life. And he's always trying something new. He's always exploring. He's always pushing the boundaries. He's always breaking shit and figuring out what doesn't work and then building something new. And that brings so much fresh energy into my life, even though it also is friction sometimes and rubs me the wrong way. Like I can see with my 2 line, naturally this thing is going to work or it's going to be easy or it's not, and I can already see that. And he doesn't learn that way with his 3 line, right? It's a very different way for him. With his 3 line, he's like, I have to try it for myself. I can't just hear you say it's not going to work. I can't read other people's experience like a 1 line would. I have to jump in there and try it for myself. And for me, it takes a lot of patience to allow him to operate with his 3 line when it's so dissonant from the way that my 2 line operates. But when he does try something new, sometimes he makes these incredible discoveries that add so much fresh energy into our life as a couple and into my life, an extension to that. So having that understanding is so valuable. And anytime we do a reading for a couple that has these really dissonant lines, it's always like knowing this information will set you free, because it doesn't feel natural to allow someone with a dissonant line to just be and to learn or teach in that way. You really have to practice it. Practice allowing, practice accepting them for who they are. And then when you do that, the highest expression of those 2 energies come out where they support each other and help each other grow. So if you have a 1 line in your profile, that means that you have a dissonance with anyone with a 2, a 3, a 5, or a 6, right? If you have a 2 in your profile, that means there's a dissonance with anyone with a 1, a 3, a 4, and a 6. So you can go through. We really encourage you to look up the visual component of what the trigram looks like with the 6 profile lines. Like Shayna was saying, there's the lower trigram. It starts with 1 at the bottom, at the base, and then there's 2 above it, and then there's 3 above that. And then the upper trigram where there's 4 at the base, and then 5, and then 6. We encourage you to look at that visual aid so that you can get an easier representation. You can see what lines are harmonious with yours or not. But it's just about knowing that our profile lines are such an important part of how we experience life. Like, it's going to serve you to know which lines are resonant, which lines are harmonious, and which lines are dissonant for you, so that you can practice either enjoying the harmony and the resonance, or you can practice accepting and understanding the dissonance and allowing it to help you grow in your life.
Mm. Yes, I love it. I find this so fun because maybe it's the part of me that sees everything as a project and an opportunity for growth, but it really does, and it's an easy way to have acceptance for other people because, like Dana said, a lot of times um, without awareness of your design, people are experiencing you based off of your profile and really seeing that first and foremost without knowing, that you're a projector or that you're a manifestor or generator or whatever. They're really feeling like, oh, they're so good at making people feel cozy, or they love learning, or they always step in and save the day, right? They have that five energy. And so just having this awareness alone and even offering it up to your partner or your friend, to say like, oh, you learn in this way, or we have this harmonious connection in this way, or you help me get unstuck in that way, right? Because you have that dissonance, can just be so supportive. So I hope that this little quickie was satisfying for you. um, and just, brought a little bit of awareness and fun to your week. And like I said, we're keeping it short and sweet, which is probably, this is still like 30 minutes. Because short and sweet for us is long for other people's podcasts. But yeah, we hope that you have an amazing, harmonious, or stretched and unstuck and expansive, exciting rest of your week. Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to follow along and learn more about human design.